Tope Con. Hello and welcome. This is episode 93 of the No Spots podcast. Yes, we are 7 episodes away from the big 100, and this will be the final No Spots podcast, main podcast of 2020. As you know, we are going on a 2-week break for the holidays to revamp and refresh. We will be doing a live stream of TLC on Sunday evening at 6:30, and we will be recapping that with a special edition of the People's Review with myself and Sith joining me to recap TLC. And then that'll be it for us in terms of content until 2021. DC's People's Champ here with you. Of course, I am joined by my tag team partner, the Sith. Sith, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great, my brother. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's staying safe out there. Hey, champ, do you realize that we didn't get any snow from that nor'easter down here in the RVA, but just west of here, it was nasty as shit.
All right. I'm looking at our live right now, and the video seems to be a little wonky on Facebook. Hopefully, it's not like that on the YouTube for those that are actually watching. For those that are listening, it is. You don't have to worry about that. But the video on Facebook is a little wonky here. It's weird, unless it's just my phone. I'll check that later. Anyway, we got a lot to cover for you on this episode. Of course, we just had final resolution last week for Impact, which was their final major event of 2020. They did announce during that their first major event of 2021 will be Genesis, which will be on January the 9th. Also, we're going to be covering in this episode a lot in terms of New Japan because they are winding their way down the road to the Tokyo Dome and Wrestle Kingdom 15. I will announce here what's in store for the final 3 shows at Korakuen Hall, which is normally where they go to end off the year. It's Korakuen Hall in Tokyo. And then I will give you the matches already announced for Wrestle Kingdom 15. There are still more matches that are going to be added to the card before we get to Tokyo Dome. So make sure you check that out. We will also preview this upcoming Sunday's the TLC 2020 pay-per-view, which only has 6 matches, but we will preview them with a bit of a twist, which I will explain when we get to that bit. So that's what we got for you. And then, of course, we're going to look back in the week in review with a lot to talk about in terms of the 2 go-home shows. Talk about just absolute mirror images when it comes to the 2 shows. The 2 go-home shows for TLC and Raw and Smackdown. We'll get into all of that. But we want to start off with a couple news stories that we want to bring to your attention. So first news story is, of course, AEW loves to announce ahead of time that the card for their upcoming episode of AEW Dark, which is a favorite show of ours here on this podcast. So hold on, let me change this banner here because there we go. Oh, we got comments. Oh, my man Mo. What up, Mo?
Hey, what's up?
With the support. Okay, it looks good on their end. It's probably just on my end then. Okay. As long as it looks good from everybody else, that's cool. All right. So let's talk about these matches for Dark. They got 13 matches. We have 5 women's matches, which is good. Again, they're really trying to focus on improving their women's division. So here's the card as it was announced, which they usually announce on their social media platforms. You have a 6-man tag match with the Dark Order, Colt Cabana 5 and 10 against Fuego del Sol, Aaron Solo, and Ray Jazz. So it looks like we're gonna have a debut there. Peter Avalon looks to go to 4 in a row against Mike Verna. Excuse me. Bear Country in their second match in AEW. They took the Dark Order to the limit this past Tuesday. Now they got to deal with Jurassic Express. Ray Phoenix making a dark appearance. He's going to be going up against Danny Limelight. That'll be a day before his scheduled shot at the AEW World Championship. I can't wait for that. How about this one? Big Shotty Lee Johnson going up against Stu Grayson. Oh boy, that's good. I would like that one. Kylan King against Alex Gracia. Sonny Kiss against Miro. Kip Sabian's going to be around. And by the way, Kip Sabian's Twitch channel is awesome, by the way. Y'all need to check that out. His Twitch channel with the Call of Duty. I've never heard a man cuss so much for a video game in my life than Kip Sabian. Maddie Rinkowitz making her debut, going up against legit Layla Hirsch. Thunder Rosa will be in action. She'll be going up against Jasmine Allure. Matt Sydal going up against Serpentico. Tesha Price against the native beast, Nyla Rose. The Hughes brothers, Terrence and Terrell, going up against the Gun Club. I would assume it will be probably Austin and Billy. This is only a 2-man. It's a regular tag, not a 6-man. Vert Vixen goes up against Red Velvet. And, of course, there will be an episode of The Waiting Room with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And her guest will be NWA World's Women's Champion, Serena Deeb. So I cannot wait for this Tuesday's edition of Dark. I have fun watching them all the time. I've made it, and if you follow me on, if you follow my Instagram, I've made it into what's called the Tuesday Night Ritual. I have a cigar, I have an adult beverage, and it's on my phone. AEW Dark. It's a Tuesday Night Ritual, and that's what I do. All right, next story here, and I kind of stifled Sif and pre-pro about talking about this, but you know what? I changed my mind. We can talk about this. Madison Rayne is a report going around. Madison Rayne's leaving the wrestling business. For those of y'all that don't know Madison Rayne has been a part of Impact Wrestling for most of her career. Starting in 2009. Before that, she wrestled for Shimmer and WrestleLicious. She's also made appearances in Ring of Honor, and she also made a brief appearance, losing in the first round of the Mae Young Classic in WWE back in 2018. Her third stint with Impact started in March of last year, 2019, and where it was reported that she had signed a multi-year deal a day after her ROH contract had expired. Most recently, she had been working as a commentating alongside her real-life husband and play-by-play guy, Josh Matthews. But now it looks like she is being offered a full-time job outside of the wrestling business. And she looks like she's going to take it and leave the business altogether, which means that now Impact is going to be looking for a new color analyst because, of course, Don Callis, who normally does color with Josh Matthews, is involved in a big storyline with current AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. There you go. So they're looking. So it'll be interesting to see who they get as a new color analyst for Josh Matthews, who, let's be honest, we don't really like him up here. Seth, again, like I said, I stifled you in pre-pro, but you said you had something to say about this. So try to be as quick as you can with what you got to say about this.
Very quick. If y'all paid attention to Final Resolution, it was either Final Resolution or the Impact before Final Resolution. Madison Rayne had suggested that she had a license to practice law. So I think she might be going into that if that was something that wasn't scripted in real life.
That's an interesting take. We'll see what happens, but I mean, this is a pretty big loss for Impact, not only in terms of their commentary, but also their women's division, which is still strong. But having someone like her, like who on camera has called herself a locker room leader, I would think she's a true locker room leader. She's leaving the company as a 5-time Knockouts champion and a 2-time Knockouts Tag Team champion. There's also been other reports that Jake Crist, who has been with the company but hasn't been seen on TV forever, has finally departed Impact. And it's also expected that Ethan Page will depart Impact. His contract is up literally on New Year's Eve, and it looks like he's not re-signed, which would explain the storyline we're seeing on Impact now with the possible splitting of the North. So there you go. That's one. But the one I really want to talk about here is the one announcement that was made during Dynamite this past Wednesday. You come back from commercial break, and there's the Rose family, Cody and Brandy. They're decorating the tree. They get a ring of the doorbell. They go and open the door. There's a nice little present sitting there, a little present sitting at the doorstep. They bring the present in, and they open it, and it's a nice little Gucci shoebox. Weird, right? Gucci shoebox, cool. So then they open the Gucci shoebox and they announce to the world that yes, they are expecting a baby in 2021. That's right, folks. Cody and Brandy Rhodes are going to be having their first child in 2021. Awesome news. And for the second time this year, for the third time this year, a fucking wrestling promo reveals a pregnancy. Becky Lynch started the trend back in May. Then Mox did it. It is built up to facing Eddie Kingston, and now the Rose family. Yo, this is the wave for wrestlers now. Using promos to fucking announce that they're getting ready to have babies. Listen, but yeah, all jokes aside, yes, they announced that they're getting ready to have a baby coming. They had also had a shot of their dog Pharaoh with the little thing that says baby security and training, which was all pretty cool. That was pretty cute. And then literally after that, then Cody came out for his match with Angelico, and then of course Brandy came out, and you could tell that they've been holding this in for a while, because when Brandy came out, she already has a baby bump. She's at least 4 or 5 months in. She's at least 4 or 5 months in, which means that was, if my math is correct, that baby's coming in probably April or May. If my math is correct, they're going to have a baby in either April or May. But that just begs the question, though, Seth. So now that Brandy's pregnant, she was in the storyline. So you gotta ask yourself: was her getting her arm broke their way of writing her off from being physical in this little rivalry with Jade Cargill and all the rest of these young ladies? And that's one. And two, where do they go from here with that storyline? Because it looked like it was building to something, but now with her being pregnant, obviously she can't be physically involved.
Mm-hmm.
But where does this go from here?
All right. Let me hit rewind for a second. Okay. All right.
He does that at least once every show, folks. He does that once every show. It never fails. Once every show, Stiff will have his headset knocked out of his head. At least once every show. Go ahead, Stiff. My bad.
All right, yeah. It never fails. But anyway, fam, here's what's going on. Here's what I was saying. Let's hit rewind for a second here. When Becky Lynch announced it, she was going to be supposedly in a program with Shayna Baszler, supposedly. So they had to do that, hand over the Money in the Bank for the women, and it went to Asuka. Asuka, as we know now, World Women's Champion. Where it came to Moxley, it just came out. And then, of course, you had the little crack from Renee on, I think it was either Twitter or Twitch or something, but she said that Lana had found out before Mox did, which I think may have been a joke. But where do we go from here? I think the broken arm very well could have been a way to write her off of TV physically, when you think about it. So where do we go from here? Intriguing idea. You've got Red Velvet and a handful of other people that'll side with the Rhodes, with the Nightmare Family, women-wise. Perhaps the story gets put on pause. Perhaps it goes on. If you want to have Brandy directly involved, it's got to be put on pause. Using the math that Champs got, let's say the baby comes in April. You're not going to want to have her back until at least July or August. Because, mother and child need time together to adapt to everything. You want to give her as much time, maternity time as she wants, the whole 9 yards, to be off physical TV and all. This is really, that's if you put it on pause. If you keep it going, then they've written out Brandy in storyline with a broken arm. So you just bring in someone in her place. But the question now is, who do you bring in? Because of the lack of women faces that are strong women faces in AEW right now. I'm looking at Hikaru Shida. Possibly. That's what I've got.
No, I wouldn't say Shida. I think Shida's already got a program going with when it comes to she's already got a program herself with Yeah, I wouldn't say Sheeta. I wouldn't say Sheeta. I would leave Sheeta out of this one. I don't think she fits. I don't think she fits in my opinion. But but my last thought of this is like, congratulations, I should say, because I mean, this is a big step. This is a big step for, especially for someone like Cody, who said he wanted to wrestle 5 more years and then be done with it. So I mean, you add a baby into it, you add a child into it, and then that most likely accelerates the time frame and the timeline when you want to finish wrestling. But if he continues wants to wrestle 5 more years, okay, cool. But I think this is awesome. And again, once again, it just happens on a wrestling promo, which is awesome. I like that so much. All right, so that's our news stories for this week. Any other news stories we get, you can find them on our Facebook page, facebook.com/No Spot Pod, and all the rest of the places you can find us on social is right there for those that are watching on the stream and reading. Now let's talk about New Japan. If you haven't heard the final episode of the Rewind with myself and Sage, it's a short podcast because we only talk about 2 events, which was the Best of Super Junior World Tag League Final, which took place last Friday, 11th, which was amazing. We talked about that, and we talked about Super J Cup, which was awesome as well. When we did the podcast last week, Super J Cup hadn't yet aired, but man, oh man, was that fun! So go back and check out that podcast. Excuse me, and let me know, and you hear how we thought about both shows that took on back-to-back nights. They were fun shows to watch. I'm gonna tell you. Of course, every Friday you have New Japan's Friday night show Strong, which is basically showcasing a lot of the New Japan of America talent, with a lot of indie talent, a lot of guys that they brought in from the indies, because again, the indies aren't really holding shows and things like that. This past Friday, it was the second night of their Detonation tour, and you had 4 matches on the card, which the first 3 were centered around the rivalry between Rocky Romero, Jeff Cobb, Fred Rogers, and PJ Black versus Team Filthy. It was centered around that. The opening match saw Rocky Romero defeat Danny Limelight. The second match saw Jeff Cobb defeat Russ Taylor. By the way, Russ Taylor appeared on Friday, 2 days after he made his in-ring debut on NXT as Tyler Russ, and showed up. And I'm going to talk about that when we talk NXT later on. And then, of course, PJ Black with the placebo effect defeating JR Kratos and Tom Lawler, him and Fred Rosser in a tag match. And then in the main event, Kenta using his briefcase and to go to sleep on Big Bad Brody King retains his U.S. heavyweight right to challenge certificate over Big Bad Brody King in the main event of that show. So there you go. That's what happened on Strong on Friday night. Remember, Strong comes on each and every Friday night on New Japan World in both English and in Japanese. So there you go. Now the focus now is going to be on the Tokyo Dome and Wrestle Kingdom, which is New Japan's version of WrestleMania. Excuse me. It's their biggest show of the year. And last year was the first year that they expanded it from 1 night to 2 nights. And they're doing it again this year. They're doing 2 nights at the Tokyo Dome. And man, oh man, card for that is already stacking up to be good, and they still have matches to add. But before we get there, there's the Road to Tokyo Dome. They've been on this Road to Tokyo Dome tour already. They've been non-televised events going around the country, but the culmination of that will be 3 nights spent in legendary Cork and Corkland Hall, with 3 nights of action. On night 1, which is going to be on December the 21st, that's a Monday. Bell time is actually 6:30 local time, which is 4:30 a.m. here on the East Coast. I may or may not wake up for that one. I don't know yet. But you have first you're going to have the Tiger Mask comeback match to open. Tiger Mask, he's been off since before the pandemic or during the pandemic. His last match was in February. Then the pandemic happened. Then when they came back, he was nowhere to be seen. Apparently, he had some kind of stomach issue that kept him from competing. But he has since resolved that issue, and this will be his first match back proper in 8 months. He will be in a tag match with another man who's making his return after being away due to filming a movie, and that's Togi Makabe. They will all team also with Satoshi Kojima to go against the Young Lions of Gabriel Kidd, Yuya Uemura, and Yota Tsuji. I already know who's going to win that one, but I can't wait to see Makabe and Tiger Mask. Your second matchup will see the team of Toa Hanara and Juice Robinson going up against Yujiro Takahashi and Kenta. Your third matchup is six-man Master Wato, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Hiroyoshi Tenzan going up against the Suzuki-gun squad of Minoru Suzuki and the IWGP Junior Tag Champions Yoshinobu Kanemaru. They can return after suffering a knee injury that kept him out of Best of the Super Juniors this year, and El Desperado, who came within an eyelash of becoming Best of Super Junior 27 champion before falling short to Hiromu Takahashi. So there you go. Your fourth matchup will see another six-man with the other members of Suzuki Gundoki, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi, the Dangerous Tekkers, the tag team champions, going up against their challengers and the winners of the World Tag League, the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tangaloa and Tama Tonga, as well as Chase Owens. Your fifth matchup will see Tomoaki Honma team with Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kazuchika Okada to go up against the Empire. That's Jeff Cobb, Great Khan, Will Ospreay. And in your main event, LIJ's Bushi Sanada and Tetsuya Naito go head up with Dick Togo, Evil, and the January 5th challenger for the double gold in Jay White. Naito still the double gold holder. So that's going to be the schedule for the 21st. The 22nd is going to be another spirited little one right here, where you're going to have Toru Yano, and Tomoaki Honma tagging against Chase Owens and Bagla Fale. That's going to be a preview for the 23rd, where Toru Yano is going to have his final defense of the KOPW 2020 championship against Bad Luck Fale. And it'll be in a match that's picked by the fans. It'll either be a body slam match, or it'll be a body slam or 4-corner pad match, where you either body slam your opponent, or if you are the last to remove the turnbuckle pads, you're the winner. Some wild shit, let me tell you. So that's a preview of that. Also, you're gonna have another matchup that we saw on night one of this: Master Wato, Taguchi, and Tenzan against Suzuki-gun. Again, they're trying to get their shot at the Junior Tag Championships at Wrestle Kingdom, are Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi. Doki's and the Dangerous Tekkers against G.O.D., but this time they'll be joined by Yujiro and not Chase. Hiromu joins the LIJ team with Tetsuya Naito and Sanada. They go up against Taiji Ishimori, Dick Togo, and Evil, which is a potential preview of January 5th if Hiromu gets past January 4th. And we'll talk about that in just a bit. Bushi and Shingo Takagi against the Empire's Great Khan and Jeff Cobb. Shoji Robinson and Kota Ibushi against Jay White, Kenta, and Gato. Ibushi and Jay White could be a potential preview for January 5th, depending on the result of January 4th. We got Dujane is in the house. Dujane, how are you doing, sir? Glad you are here. Let me pull this up real quick. There we go. Thank you for joining. Thank you to everybody for joining. All right, so that's your main event right there. Got it. Now, the 23rd, which will be the final show of New Japan for 2020. And this one right here, you'll have Master Wato and Taguchi with Tiger Mask against the Young Lions in a 6-man tag. Another 6-man tag will see Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, Sanada against Evil, Dick Togo, and Taiji Ishimori. Again, previews and possible previews for January the 5th. Then in the third matchup, that will be no time limit for the KOPW 2020 championship. The title holder, Toru Yano, against challenger Bad Luck Fale. Bad Luck Fale, his stipulation that's being voted on is a body slam match. And Toru Yano's a body slam or last corner pad match. So we'll see. That will be announced the day of before the event. So we'll know when we get into the event what stipulation that will be. It'll be the last defense for Toru Yano. I believe that there's going to be a KOPW 2021 trophy that he'll have to earn in order to be that. But if he wins this match, he ends 2020 as the King of Pro Wrestling. Think about that. Toru Yano, the King of Pro Wrestling. Wow. Hanari and Juice go against Jay White Kenta, Homa, Tanahashi, and Okada against the Empire. And in the main event, Sho and Kota Ibushi against Bushi and Tetsuya Naito. So those are your 3 shows to close out the year. And then they'll take a break for the Christmas holiday and New Year's before they head to Monday, January 4th. And the annual tradition that takes place on January 4th, that is Wrestle Kingdom. And it's Wrestle Kingdom 15. I cannot wait. I'm glad you're doing well, brother Dujane. Glad you were able to catch us live. I know that a lot of times you don't have a chance to catch us live, but appreciate you being able to do so. But yeah, so Wrestle Kingdom takes place every January 4th, no matter what day it is, whether it's Sunday, Monday, or like in this case, Monday. Every January 4th, this event takes place. But again, it's for the second year in a row. They're going with 2 nights instead of just 1. So here are the matches already announced for night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom. Of course, you're going to have a matchup between 2 who are considered 2 of the top juniors of 2020. You're going to have the winner of the Best of Super Juniors tournament, Hiromu Takahashi, against the man who won the Super J Cup the very next night, El Phantasmo. They challenged each other to a matchup at Wrestle Kingdom, and we are going to get that with the winner moving on to January 5th to challenge for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, you have the Dangerous Tekkers, who are the 87 champions, going up against the winners of World Tag League 2020, GOD, Guerrillas of Destiny, Tanga Loa, and Tama Tonga, who have not had great success in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. As a matter of fact, the last couple of years, they've actually lost those tag team championships in the Tokyo Dome. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. A special singles match, which will have a 60-minute time limit because it is a special singles match. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace, will be going up against the Dominator himself, the Great Okan, who has chastised Tanahashi throughout the tour, the World Tag League Best of Super Juniors tour. So now they will finally go at it 1-on-1. And then, of course, you have another special singles match, Kazuchika Okada against Will Ospreay. As you know, Ospreay turned on Okada on the final night of block action in the G1 with the help of Great Okan to establish this new faction known as the Empire. And now they will finally go 1-on-1. And then, of course, your main event of night 1 will be for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships. It will be Tetsuya Naito defending both belts against Kota Ibushi, who won the G1 this year, but lost his right to challenge contract to Jay White at Power Struggle. But Naito at a press conference said, I want to wrestle both nights. Since Jay wants to wrestle on the 5th, I want Kota Ibushi on the 4th. So that's what you're going to get there. So that's night 1. And again, the full card is expected to be announced later on, but those are just some of the matches already announced. And then for the second night of Wrestle Kingdom, you're going to have Taiji Ishimori in his first defense of the Junior Heavyweight Championship since winning it back in August, by the way. But the thing about New Japan is that a champion has up to 6 months to defend a championship before it's stripped. And since that was in August, he's in month 4 now. This is first defense of the championship. He will be going up to whoever wins the match between Hiromu Takahashi and El Phantasmo. We have never openweight championship. Shingo's first defense since he won the championship. When did he win that championship? I think it was Power Struggle. I believe it was Power Struggle. He won that championship in Power Struggle about a month ago, and then he went in the World Tag League. So his first defense as the 31st champion, going up against Jeff Cobb, made his statement of being the champion by going after and dropping him not once but twice during the tail end of the World Tag League tournament. With a singles match, grudge match, Sonata versus Evil. This had all the makings of an emotional battle. Sonata and Evil are two-time former World Tag League winners as well as former heavyweight tag team champions. And Sonata was the most hurt by Evil's betrayal in summer and defecting Bullet Club, and it all came out on the final night of World Tag League when Sonata went after Evil, firstly. And so now we got that matchup. And of course, whoever comes out of night 1 as the double champion will have to defend those belts against Jay White, who currently has the right to challenge who has the right to challenge contract in his possession. So those are the matches for night 2. And again, that's just what's been announced so far. Make sure you stay tuned here to the No Spots podcast, where we will provide the full card for both nights, and there will be a preview podcast for Wrestle Kingdom that'll take place. Myself and Sage will record that, so we'll get that out to you guys, so that way you can be ready and prepared for that. So there you go. Yay! That was a long segment. That was a long bit. Jesus fucking Christ, that was a long bit. All right, so let's talk about Impact Final Resolution. This is gonna be quick because we got a lot to cover. So I can't even recap the live stream because nobody watched it and it caused me to rage quit. So we don't need to talk about that. But the results from Impact. So I made my predictions on this podcast last week, and I ended up going 5-3-1. Havoc and Nevaeh did defeat the Sea Stars. Hernandez did beat Falaba, but yeah, he still didn't get his money. So there's still that. So that's still going on. Someone did defeat Rohit in the Defeat Rohit Challenge, and we have a new X Division champion. I thought it was going to be TJP as Suicide, but it was TJP as Manic. So I gave myself a push on that one because I was half right. It was TJP under a mask. It was just a wrong masked man. So I gave myself a push on that one, and that's where the tie comes in. I thought it was going to be Suicide, but it was Manic. That's fine. Rhino, I picked Rhino to defeat Eric Young. Eric Young won that one. I picked Larry D to defeat Tommy Dreamer. He didn't, so now Larry D is in prison. I picked the Edwards to defeat Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with the K, but they didn't. Tennille and Caleb with the K got the victory. But I did pick these last 3 right. Deonna Purrazzo retains her championship. Carl Anderson defeats Ethan Page, so no title shot for the North. And Swan would defeat Chris Bay to retain the Impact World Championship. And then Moose would come down, pick up the Impact belt while he had the TNA belt in his hand, and then hand it to Rich Swann as sort of a message. And there you go. So that's a quick look at Impact Final Resolution. It was a very fun pay-per-view to watch. Definitely try to go back and watch that if you can, because it was actually fun to watch. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't enjoy it at the time when I was live streaming, and basically nobody but I enjoyed it. I watched back and watch it. So yeah. Now let's talk about TLC. TLC is coming on Sunday, and we're doing something different here when it comes to these predictions. Normally, I would have the card up. I would go through the card, and then Sif will go through each match and give his thoughts, and now I would do the same. We're going to do something different, and this is an idea straight from the brain of the man in the basement. We each decided, have taken the card, and we have set it up, and we're going to talk about each match in order of who we think will be the match order for the pay-per-view, right? So the order that we're in is what we believe will be the match order for the TLC pay-per-view. And so I would be remiss if I started this, so I would think that the person who came up with this idea should start and give their thoughts in terms of, give their match order, their predictions and things like that. So Sif, before I yield the floor to you, let me just do some cleaning up here. There we go. I yield the floor to you now. Go ahead and give your thoughts on this pay-per-view.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone's doing good. DJ, how's it going, man? Shout out to you, and shout out to the other partner that's in chat. Good having you guys on board and everyone else who's watching. Here is how I would book tables, ladders, and chairs. Starting with match 1, I would have the New Day versus the Hurt Business. Now, this is for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Okay, this has been a decent build for a Raw match on a pay-per-view, okay? The booking and the building on Raw has been so lopsided, it's sick. Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, they make a solid tag team. And they're going to prove to be some of the toughest competition to the New Day's Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Now, it's possible that the New Day wins. However, it's possible that the Hurt Business gets a win here and adds to their championships in the stable of the Hurt Business, as Bobby Lashley is our United States champion. Now, you can have the New Day lose, and I will tell you how they're protected, because this is how I've got it going. MVP or Bobby Lashley does a little outside interference. That's how they're protected. So the Hurt Business wins with outside interference, and they are your new Raw Tag Team Champions. Match 2. Now, this match got an upgrade of sorts after what happened on Raw. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton in a Firefly Inferno match. Now, this is only the 5th time WWE has had an Inferno match, so it's seldom used. I mean, very seldom. So this has had a crazy build because you still have the story of the Fiend trying to get revenge on the guys who spurned him when he was just Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family. All right, you have the added attraction of Alexa Bliss as the Fiend's sidekick, if you will. Now, since this is a specialty match, it's rarely used. I will let you all in that this match ends when someone is set on fire. For those not familiar with an Inferno match. This could go either way. I think this is going to be a slow burn to a change in WWE per se. And that's why they started to up this up a notch after Raw, as it's now the Firefly Inferno match. Going with the Fiend here, but do not be surprised if Orton wins somehow and they kick the can to extend this out a little bit more towards the Royal Rumble. Then I start shaking my fucking head. This match had to be put on the card. It's here. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus Asuka, and to be announced for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Okay, Dejanay is talking. Saying true, but WWE pretty much does everything backwards and miss clear opportunities to make good stories. On point, brother. On point. And it is and thanks a lot on the feedback there, Dejanay. Anyway, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus Asuka, and to be announced because we don't know who our partner is going to be. Now, this is one of the matches that could bring down this whole entire card. Okay. Whereas I think the Hurt Business versus the New Day, Orton Fiend, and the two tables and ladders two TLC matches are going to be entertaining as hell. This has disaster written all over it. Okay? WWE has failed hard where it comes to women's tag team wrestling, and this is no different. As the initial partner for Asuka, Lana, has either been written out because of an actual injury or kayfabe or storyline injury, which begs the question, who is Asuka's partner? Now, a lot of people online are speculating that it's Charlotte, which means yet another odd couple partnering. But I'm going to say that Lana comes out to close at the end and we have new women's tag team champions. Just going with my gut here. Match 4, going to keep going down. And we're going to do our first tables, ladders, and chair match of the night, McIntyre Styles. And this is for the WWE Championship. Now, someone had this as your main event, and you have no argument for me whatsoever. I just have it here. Now, this has had a pretty decent build coming out of Survivor Series, because what happened, for those who missed it, was after the Raw men's team swept Smackdown, the producer, if you will, Adam Pearce, came out and said, well, we need to have a number one contenders match. So after all that went through, your number one contender is the phenomenal AJ Styles. And here we are. Now, logic would suggest that McIntyre does retain, and I think he does here against the former WWE champion. Yes, you have to remember, Styles was WWE champion once. It's going to be a fascinating match, and I can see almost possibly getting involved, but I'm going with McIntyre here for the win. Match 5 is the other match that I've got a problem with, and it's because of the poor booking of women on WWE. Sasha Banks versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship, where I'm like shaking my head and just saying, wait, what? Now, look, I get that the SmackDown women's roster is rather lean on action and talent that you want to push. But holy hell, this is not good. I mean, you catapulted Carmella up into the title picture after a couple of vignettes, after she had been off TV for quite some time because of the pandemic. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's somebody who's not on the card that would have been a better push. Bianca Belair. Oh, oops. That's all I'm going to say about it. Look, everyone knows how I feel. If Sasha Banks loses this match, I'm going to lose my fucking mind and drop a bullock on the air. I'm going for Sasha Banks here, going against my better judgment. She will win, but I will be pissed off if WWE does their usual lackadaisical booking with Sasha Banks as champion and she loses after a short time. And then your main event, I've got the mob boss, the head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, the TLC match for the Universal Champion. All right, I need to call the hurt here. If you think they're going to have Roman lose right now, you've lost your mind and you don't know how things are booked. Roman is so over as a heel right now. It's insane. Few heels get this much. Few get this much. He's not losing anytime soon. I think the earliest possibly is WrestleMania. Now, I'm not saying that Kevin Owens isn't going to be a factor. He's going to be a factor. He and Roman will put on one hell of a show. But you do not respect Mob Boss Roman, who is the head of the table and the tribal chief. Now, if you think this is wrong, let me know here in the chat, or you guys know where to find me. And I respect y'all's opinion, but I will say this is the likely outcome. Roman beats KO. Champ, yield the floor to you, my brother. And I'm here for a second. So, Champ.
I'm here.
Right,
sorry.
No worries.
But Junior wanted a snack, so yeah. Joys of fatherhood. Joys of fatherhood. All right. So that's how Sith is booking Royal Rumble for him. So here's how I'm booking TLC. Here's how I'm booking TLC. So Sith put the Smackdown TLC match for the Universal Championship as the main event. I'm going in the opposite direction. I feel like this will open the show. Yes, the storyline has been very compelling, but the same could be said for the storyline with Jay and Roman, and they opened up Hell in the Cell, which wasn't a bad play, actually, because it actually made the show very watchable, because at the start you got hard-hitting personal action right there. So Roman and Kevin are going to open the show for the Universal Championship. They're going to batter each other. It's been uber personal, and Roman's going to get the win, because they're going to continue to make Roman look like an unstoppable force. Mob Boss Roman, I don't know why I'm disrespecting the man. Mob Boss Roman is going to Mob Boss Roman all over Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens is going to give him a hell of a fight. We know this. But they're not going to put the Universal title on Kevin Owens now. Not with the role that Roman has been on, and the fact that they're trying to ride that momentum all the way to WrestleMania. So Mob Boss Roman gets the victory on this one to open the show, and they're going to put down a banger that's going to really set the tone for the rest of the pay-per-view. I'm noticing, and you're going to notice this trend that I'm going to set up here when I tell you what else is going on here. Next, I feel like the second match of the night will be the Raw Tag Team Championship match, the New Day versus the Hurt Business. Now, the Hurt Business get singles victories from Cedric Alexander over both members. So Shelton has been able to get the job done. Then we've also seen Ced starting to get a little bit big for his britches. If people are noticing, he's getting a little big for his britches and stuff like that. That's something to pay attention to. But I feel like in this instance, and I gotta echo Sid's point there about how, yeah, I think that that the only way that the Hurt gets his victory and wins those, and it doesn't hurt the New Day, is if MVP or Bobby Lashley somehow get involved. I'm also picking the Hurt Business to win the tag team championships, which I think will sow more seeds of a possibility of Ced pushing away from the group, because he may get the victory and then just absolutely lose his fucking mind, because it'll only be his second championship in WWE coming off the heels. Remember, he's a former cruiserweight champion. So I'm going with the Hurt Business. Definitely going with the Hurt Business on this one. Next, after that tag team matchup, I think that the WWE will tag team us to death, and I think they will put the women's tag titles on after that. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, the odd couple tag team that now all of a sudden become friends for the most part, going up against Asuka and a mystery partner. Lana's down with injury. There are all kinds of reports saying, she's out until 2021, etc., etc. I'm just going to say what a lot of these wrestling pundits, these wrestling talking heads are saying. Charlotte. The mystery partner is Charlotte. It's not Lana. Lana's not coming out to make some grand heroes slip into a championship victory type of thing. No, it's Charlotte. Charlotte's going to make her return, get her revenge on Nia, defeat the champions, and then she's going to add to her legacy by becoming women's tag team champion. Which, by the way, everybody, that's one title she has not held yet. Ha! That's the only title in WWE she has not held yet, is the women's tag team championships. So guess what? That's going to happen. I'm just saying. So Charlotte, and they're going to win. Asuka and Charlotte are going to become tag team champions. This will be Asuka's third reign as tag team champions. It'll be Charlotte's first reign, and she will have the women's Grand Slam in WWE, having been a former two-time NXT Women's Champion, a former Raw Women's Champion, and a former SmackDown Women's Champion. She will now add this to her legacy. There you go. Next, I think that it'll be back-to-back for the women, because I think the next match will be Sasha Banks and Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, look, say what you want about the build for this, but I will say this. Carmella has done a beautiful job of taking what she's been given to really build herself up to look like she's a legit contender and can legit take that championship from Sasha. Like, you can almost believe if she takes that title from Sasha that, okay, cool, hey, she built herself to this. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I'm picking Sasha because logic. She's been taken down and stood over top by her challenger 2 weeks in a row. Logic tells me, they're building it up to make Carmella look unstoppable, but then Sasha's going to turn around and show that she was stoppable, basically. So Sasha Banks is my pick to win this one and retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. There you go. The semifinal, as they say in Japan, the semifinal match, the fifth match on the card, is going to be the Firefly Inferno match between Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, between The Fiend and Randy Orton. This is an example that most people don't know about long-term story booking, because you notice that throughout this program, there have been a lot of callbacks to when Orton was a part of the Wyatt family, then he burned down the compound and all of this stuff, and they've been harking back to this. This has been a long time coming. And now you got The Fiend going up against Randy Orton. Now, conventional wisdom says, Fiend all the way, because The Fiend is made to be strong. He's only lost once since becoming The Fiend. He's only lost once, and that was to Goldberg, and that shouldn't have happened. I'm not going to get into that. Here's the thing, guys. He's only lost once since becoming The Fiend. He's going to lose twice. It's going to be Randy Orton. Randy Orton is going to beat The Fiend. The Fiend's going to be set on fire. He's still probably not going to feel much of anything, but it's still going to be the Fiend. He's going to be set on fire. And I predict that this is going to be a cinematic type of match. Just by the sound of it, it's going to be a cinematic match. We'll see. But that's going to be your fifth match of the night. It's going to be Randy Orton defeating the Fiend in a Firefly Inferno match. So that will leave us your main event. And again, this is the theme I'm noticing for some of these speciality type pay-per-views. Look at War Games. Look at Hell in a Cell. What has opened and closed both of those shows? Their respective matches. Hell in a Cell opened with the Hell in a Cell match and then closed with one. TLC is going to open with the TLC match for the Universal title, and it will close with Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. I mean, again, War Games open and close with War Games matches. That's been the theme for this here 2020. The gimmick match for that pay-per-view that pay-per-view is named after has bookended the show. Drew's winning this. I mean, there's not really much of an explanation to give here. There's just no logical reason to put the title on AJ Styles. Granted, yes, he did lead the Raw team to victory in Survivor Series. He's been on a roll. He's now got this big enforcer, almost. So yeah, I mean, it looks like you're putting AJ in a position where he can be the champion. But you just put the title back on Drew, and then he had a match with Roman. Did you just do that to have a match with Roman, and then you go take the title off of him? That makes zero sense. So Drew's going to retain, but it's going to be a hell of a contest. You know they're going to pull out all the stops, and based on what happened on Raw, yeah, it's Drew McIntyre all the way. So that's how I'm booking TLC. That's how I'm booking it. And we bring in Sith now because it's time to give our preliminary grade for this card. Sith, your grade, please, sir.
Oh boy, I'm gonna get shit on for this. I can tell from the fans, and that's all fine and good because I love you all. I don't have a lot of faith in Carmella versus Sasha Banks or Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus Asuka, and I'm thinking line of champs going with Charlotte, which is also a good pick. Now, the primary reason for that is because WWE sucks when it comes to promoting women's wrestling of late. I've said it time and again. There are about 4 or 5 wrestlers they want to feature, and the rest are just discarded into pointless stories. And Raw has been average to poor to average of late, and you've got 4 Raw matches on the card for this Sunday. So you need to have measured expectations. I'm going with a B here, but hopefully this card shows up more than what I'm thinking. I'm being cautiously optimistic, but I'm going back to reality after the fun I had watching War Games and Final Resolution. Champ, floor is yours, homie.
I'm going to say my preliminary grade is a B-. If Charlotte shows up and they put on a hell of a contest with Nia and Shayna, I think that is where the grade will be the determiner for the grade, I believe, is that match right there. If that match delivers something good, then that will bring it up. Because I think Sasha and Carmella is going to deliver. They gave us a small preview that Smackdown last week. So I know that's going to deliver. We know that the 2 TLC matches are going to do what they do best. And, of course, the Hurt Business and New Day have had 2 already really good tag matches together. So you got to think that they're going to do a third one and they're going to be just as good, if not better. But that women's tag team title match is going to be the determining factor of whether this gets a B or more grade, or if it gets less than a B- into C+ or C territory. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with that. Speaking of Raw, beautiful segue there. Again, tune in Sunday, 6:30 on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We will be live streaming and giving reactions to TLC 2020 and things of that nature. If you're listening to this on Monday, then you missed it. Just saying. All right. let's talk about Monday Night Raw since we brought it up. Monday Night Raw is basically dominating and having the night here with 4 of the 6 matches being from the Raw brand. But again, another subpar Raw, so subpar that they had their lowest ratings ever. Lowest ratings ever. That is unbelievable. So much so that the USA Network's like, yo, what in the fuck are y'all doing over there? What is going on over there? And they're also saying this. Yeah, they're saying it's trash. What is going on, Sith? What is going on?
Oh,
What is
my
going
God.
on?
Champ, I got to get my shit off here. I apologize to Champ in advance. He had no idea I was going to do this, but I'm going to say it right now. Watching Raw was like watching the part in A Clockwork Orange where Alex is going through those experiments. His eyes are pried open and he's getting drops put in his fucking eyes. It's that fucking bad. I mean, oh my God. It's either average or bad. There's no good in Raw these days. Anyway, let's focus on this week. Could it be that New Day's reign as Raw Tag Team Champions could be at a close soon? Well, if it plays out the way I think I'm playing out the last couple of weeks, it will happen. But we have to remember, creative can sometimes pull the rug out the last minute on what we think and what actually does happen. All right, is this injury to Lana legit? Or is it a way to write her off TV because Kevin Dunn and or Bruce Pritchard realize and have listened to the pod and have heard us say that it's a bad idea to push Lana as a sympathetic babyface. Champ and I know well, you cannot push a sympathetic babyface. You can do it, but it has to be viable. Nobody's buying Lana in this position. If it's a legit injury, Lana, we hope you heal up, please, and come back stronger. Oh, by the way, the dirt sheets were wrong a month ago saying that we've seen the last of Jackson Riker. Well, he's walking with Elias. I still think he's gone come post-WrestleMania cuts, but I think we've got Riker on a morphine drip. I'm pissed off about what's happening with Keith Lee. Is it a pause on a push? Is he getting buried or being taught a lesson? You know, this is just more proof where it comes to these NXT call-ups have been on a whole. Pointless, as the main roster has way too much talent to pull from, and the call-ups either get lost in the shuffle or forgotten about, or they end up in the doghouse. Jesus. Oh, and Retribution. Retribution! You want to rude Ricochet? Hey, Ricochet, run. Run fast, my friend. Because look, these guys are on a hot and cold push here. It'll make you feel even worse than you do now. You know, last week I thought Retribution was dead. Now I think it's a morphine drip on life support, waiting for possible signs of either vitality or they're officially getting buried and done. I don't think Dana Brooke's going to be Asuka's partner. Champ thinks it's Charlotte. I think it's Lana at the end. MVP is great as the talking manager, if you will, doing the talk of Hurt Business. So Riddle's quick win to MVP doesn't hurt the Hurt Business and doesn't hurt MVP either. And maybe it's just me, fam. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this was not a good episode of Raw for it to be a go-home show. It wasn't solid enough to garner interest for a pay-per-view that's on Sunday. Now, the first 2 shows post-Survivor Series did a better job in setting the table for it. Hopefully, as we put TLC in the background, in the rearview mirror, we go into Royal Rumble and WrestleMania seasons. Hopefully, the ship can be righted where it comes to Raw, because Raw is just really hard to watch. Champ, floor's yours, homie.
I'm glad you brought that point up. That this was a home show, and it did It did very poorly. Not only ratings wise, but content wise. It did very, very poorly. Very poorly. There we go. Matter of fact, Jay just makes a very valid point here. Is going to bring that up right here, right now. Come on. There we go. And I agree. Most of their go home shows aren't good, but the funny part is we'll get to it. But SmackDown's was way better. It was way better, but we'll get there. We're here on Raw now, and my first takeaway from Raw is what they did with Orton and Bray throughout this episode, with the whole hide and seek thing, the puppets, and all that other stuff. Everything about that was absolutely phenomenal. Even the corny dad jokes were good. those corny dad jokes were good too, with him and the puppets laughing. I was sitting there just saying, "Okay, you're wild, but this is good. This is good." I appreciate that, Juice. No, SmackDown was good. We'll talk about it later, though. We'll talk about it later. Yeah. The dad jokes were funny too. We're just corny, but good. So they're continuing their roller coaster. It seems like I call it a roller coaster because they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. 1 week they're getting yelled at by Mustafa Ali for losing to Ricochet, and then they turn around and they get Big Mace, and Big Mace goes up and beats him, and everything's right in the world. What are they doing with this group? Come on, what are they doing? Okay. Why are the women of Raw getting treated like this? Why are they getting treated like just throwaways? You put your top women's champion in a tag team storyline, and then you turn around and the storyline she's with, the person she's in with in the storyline is now out with injury until 2021? And then you're continuing it without her. Like, that makes zero sense. First of all, why is your women even in this situation to begin with? Is my first question. That's my first question. Why are the women's champion in this to begin with? Okay, that's number one. And number two, why did you take Lana out of it? I mean, you already tried to push her, and now you're like, oh shit, we gotta get her out. We gotta get out of this. Just dumb. Okay. Matt Riddle absolutely squashes MVP.
What?
Yeah, like, and look, it's nothing against Riddle, who Ross Tudell on Cold Hard calls Riddle. But wait, but this is a former 2-time U.S. champion, a living legend. He gets squashed. What happened there? Why did that happen? I don't understand. Hold on. Got more stuff to talk about from Dujane because they don't have a clue of what to do with her. Talking about Lana. And it also says, I get the feeling that they don't really like her at all. That's funny. Oh man, that's funny. I don't think they like her either. Hold on. Let's jump back in, so we're gonna jump right back out there. We go back over there. But yeah, no, I don't think they like her either. Anybody likes her except her husband. Anyway. But okay, stay with her business though. I really think that Seth is gonna either leave that group or they're gonna kick his ass out. Because the way he carries himself, they're gonna either kick his ass out or he's gonna say fuck y'all and roll. Either way, it's coming sooner than you think, and I hate it because I like her business. As much as they're heels, I like her business. I like the dynamic of her business because you got the old vet and MVP, you got the powerhouse Ashley, you got the other vet, and then you got the youngin. I hate this. I really do. I hate this. Okay. So in that main event segment, there's a good thing. It's a good thing there was no crowds in these arenas. Because let me say something. That ladder toss that Drew McIntyre did in that segment would have ended tragically. It would have ended so tragically. oh my God, somebody would have been suing WWE for having a ladder knocked up right upside the damn head. Boy, I tell you. So I didn't know this, but it seems like a lot of the main roster belts and a lot of the belts in WWE are now put together with Velcro. They have them around them with Velcro, not fastened. Here, I'll give you an example. I'll show you my title belt. See this right here? Those you can see on the view stream on the stream. This is fastened by buttons. It's fastened. Now they use Velcro, which this is weird. I actually saw this recently, but it's just now. I was like, okay, I gotta bring this up on the podcast. Like, I wonder what made them change that. Because, like I said, I'm used to belts having this on there, and in some cases, this a little gold tip. By the way, I got myself another one for Christmas. It should be here. Hopefully, it'll probably be here after Christmas. But by the time the next podcast comes up on the 9th, the next live stream on the 9th, you'll see 2 belts up here. So there you go. But just overall, again, this is your go home show to TLC, and you put out that trash. Like, that was, oh my God, that's not how you do this. That's not how you do this. Oh no, that's not how you do this. AJ and Sheamus was probably the highlight of the night. They went out and just beat the hell out of each other. That was the highlight of the night, was that. And the stuff that Bray and Randy were doing. Other than that, everything else you could just, like they say, and you can chuck it in the bin. And that's why your ratings were so trash. Because that was trash. What you put out to the world on your final Raw before TLC, the first Raw in Tropicana Field, that's what you give us. No, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it, Chief. All right. We're going to move on here. We're going to talk about Impact continues to absolutely kill it on Tuesday nights. I enjoy watching it. I don't watch it live on Tuesday nights, but I check it out the next day. And man, oh man, coming off of over 750,000 engagements across all the social media platforms, I want to, like, what did they bring us this week? What did they bring us this week? And as a result of that, again, what did they do? Sith, what did they do? What they did?
They fucking delivered. It's what they fucking did. But let me start off here by saying this. Take away from Tennille Dashwood versus Alicia Edwards. It is so simple. The story is not over yet. Okay? And neither is one of my favorite rivalries in all of professional wrestling, Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan. These guys hate the fuck out of each other on screen. It is so sick. But it doesn't get old to me because they keep adding more fresh layers to their story. So that's what makes it so good. Yo, champ, you mean to tell me a Genesis, Moose versus Willie Mack in an I Quit match? Shut up and take my money, goddammit. Take it. Just take it. What? I love I Quit matches. Okay? I really do, folks. This is going to be wild. Tony Khan's promos leave the viewer thinking. Down the stretch, could we see an invasion angle? It's the subtle seeds. Got to pay attention to the subtle little seeds, okay? We need more divisions like the X division in Impact Wrestling. That's just crafty as hell, plot twists, the whole 9 yards. It's just a joy to relax, a joy to watch. Ethan Page, we know you're leaving Impact. We know your contract expires likely at the end of the year, which is a week from this coming Thursday. But dude, please go to AEW. Do not go to WWE. You know, I'm going to say this. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz might have known what Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly had in mind, but it is what it is. I mean, Hogan and Steelz are heels, okay? And they play it so well. Oh, by the way, Johnny Swinger, he's got the wad of money now. Maybe he'll get out of the 70s. And the Bullet Club is back. Hard to Kill is going to be epic with that main event, with the reunited Bullet Club against the Motor City Machine Guns and Rich Swann. That's going to be one hell of a main event. And a really good slow burn, too, because eventually we'll get Swann versus Omega. But you got to plant the seeds. And they're doing a good job of just planting the seeds appropriately. But those weren't takeaways from Impact. Impact, they got their shit off. They did fun. It was a really good final resolution. They came back, had a solid Tuesday night show. No complaints. Champ, you got it, homie.
All right. Before I get into the takeaway, they did announce during this Impact that they are bringing back the Super X Cup tournament. So that should be fun. A Cup tournament taking place on Genesis on January the 9th. Who join the ranks of the Super X Cup winners such as Sabin, Mojo, and Tess. More information on this is forthcoming, so that should be fun right there. And we have some comments here. Check these. Oh, that's my guy, Dujanet. Again, Dujanet say, hey, I did a rhyme. Hey. Impact has fantastic products, solid wrestling. The crossover is going to be absolutely. I can't wait. That was a fantastic ending. So yes, Bullet Club for life, boy. No. Here's the funny part about Rich Swann. Rich Swann again had a bad egg on charge of assaulting his wife, which were unfounded, but they let him go anyway. He came to Impact, and now look at him, heavyweight champion. That's good shit there. Didn't even know he was over there. They definitely have me. Who did you know it was over there? Because I wasn't paying attention to the comments while you was talking. So my bad. The announcers of Impact aren't that good in my humble opinion. He thinks he's better than what he is. I need more focus on calling interaction. Oh, he just shitted on John. Yo, okay, yeah, nah, you're right. Yeah, can't wait for the Super X Cup too. Can't wait for that. But I like the fact that the Knockouts division continues to absolutely shine on this broadcast. See, here's the WWE, AEW, take notes. This is how your women's division gets better. Give them time. Don't put them out there and give them only 5 minutes. That's not going to make them better. You see, you had 2 women's matches on this card. You had Edwards and Tennille Dashwood. Boom. And you had all them shenanigans there, right? And then you had women's tag team title tournament, the Knockouts title tournament with Steel and Hogan against Valkyrie and Rosemary. And yeah, you had shenanigans there too. But guess what? You take away the shenanigans, and what do you have? Two very solid women's matches. Period. That's what you got. Oh, you didn't Swann with Impact. Yeah. He's been like, what, 3 years now? I think he's been with them 3 years. He's just now getting to. He had actually an angle earlier where he suffered a kayfabe career-ending injury, which was coming off of the fact that he suffered a leg injury, an ankle injury, the night before Hard to Kill, back in January. But he's been with the company for about 3 years now, I believe. I'll look it up and I'll come back to that. But again, this is how you get your women's division to look the way it does with the Knockouts division. Give them time. Let them work because they can work. Yeah, I gotta agree with Seth. But my way of saying is that Edwards and Sam Callahan is basically like that shit that some people like and some people don't like. Fight forever. Fight forever. Basically, that's what it is. They're gonna fight forever. Hey, Chris Bay. Listen. Now I see why you have that moniker ultimate finesser because it's a finesse your way into a potential X Division championship match or hard to kill. That is the way you're supposed to do it. And I hate that it happened to Rohit because I've been a mark since he won championship. I cannot believe that he got finesse like that. Jesus Christ, dude! Like you gotta be better. Do better. What are you doing? Comment from Fusion. I'm loving this. This is what I've been looking for. And all those people talking about WWE working with others is a lie. They only work with people that they can steal or they bury the company. Never a legit crossover. Amen. Trust me, if WWE brings in Impact Wrestling for a crossover, every person in a match is getting buried and losing. It's not even gonna be a question. It'll be Rich Swann as the champion going up against fucking Riddle, and Riddle beat him clean in 5 minutes. And be like, what the fuck? Like, what's this? Nah, WWE do that. They cannot do a legit crossover because they will absolutely bury the fuck out of their competition and stuff like that and make them look like trash. No, we're not. But again, Bay, way to finesse your way to a next division title match. Awesome job. Great job, dude. Great job. The North are pretty much done. That's for them. Again, we talked about it earlier on. Ethan Page is looking back. He's not going to resign his contract at the end of the year. So I guess that they're writing this out. Ethan Page is going to be gone. And it makes me sad because one of my favorite tag teams is Impact. And it makes me sad that they're going to be broken up, but it is what it is. Yeah. So now, Cody Deaner is now aligned with Eric Young. Where are they going with this? Where are they going with, like, what is the end? What are the goals? What are the end goals? Cody. They're changing Cody over. What is the end goal for all this? I'm really intrigued here, but I just want to know where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? So Janae says, how about Moose nephew? That's gonna be a good one. Yeah, Janae, Diff just mentioned it. Willie Mack and Moose going at it in Genesis. I'm here for that too. I'm here for that. Okay, be fun. That's gonna be fun. But I'm liking what's gonna be upcoming with Moose and Rich Swann. Because I knew when Moose brought out the championship, brought the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, we were going to have ourselves who was the real world champion storyline. I thought it was going to be Tessa Blanchard, but then Tessa Blanchard told Impact to fuck off. So fuck off. And so now I guess we're going to get in that situation, which I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad at that at all. For real. I'm not mad. That's pretty cool. So I guess Doc Dallas is back. We saw at the end of the show. He's back. I guess it was for 6 weeks. Or was it? I guess. I don't know. Listen. Dude's excited. Somebody. Yes. But we got Gallows back. Also, by the way, I was loving how Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone and these hate ads are just absolutely, and again, credit to my friends in the UK, they're just absolutely taking the piss out of fucking Impact Wrestling. It is just so entertaining because they're paying to get on Impact TV and just on them, and it's awesome. You won't see this anywhere else. Where else are you gonna see this? Nowhere. Maybe Ring of Honor and MLW. I mean, it just won't be of this quality, this caliber. I'm just saying. Oh God. Oh, well, y'all listen audio. My man, my hitter, Raymond Blair, my guy, just said Tessa Blanchard is what happens when riding your daddy's coattails goes wrong.
Damn.
Oh no, hold on. Nah, RB Green, get this. You get this. Yes. My man, RB3. Oh shit! Oh my god! It is DJ agrees about the ads. Those commercials are funny, and I didn't even know RB3 was in here, and he just comes out of nowhere with that shot. Jesus Christ, dude! My final takeaway is, man, like you said, he got the bullet up in the United States. So, who said it? Okay, somebody from the over in Japan said, "Yeah, not so fast. That's not the Bullet Club. We the Bullet Club." I think it was Tama Talks, but we get the reuniting of the club members, the Gallus and Anderson, the Good Brothers, and Kenny Omega, and it's been announced that Kenny Omega will be wrestling in an Impact ring on January the 16th at Hard to Kill. Wow. Yeah, no, dude, they shot fired indeed. All right, see, okay, real quick story as I'm back in. I bring in there. Quick story. So I met Aubrey in a wrestling EFED group known as EFEF way back a few years ago. We were actually at one time a tag team. We were known as the Southeast Hitters. We're both from Southeast DC. We were the Southeast Hitters. And we were on a pretty good run as a tag team in the EFEP. Okay. And then I started, this is in 2013. I remember this well because this is when I was first diagnosed with depression. And I was going through a bad spell of depression. And I ended up taking some time off from work. So I remember one day I was out. It was myself. It was Jess. It was Junior when he was only like a couple of months old. This is when Jess was working at Logan's Roadhouse. But I decided to go there to get something to eat, chill, because I was off from work. I spent the day with them. So I decided to leave out, have a smoke break, and to cut a promo because we were getting ready to challenge for the tag team championships. But again, I was going through a tough time. I hadn't started medication yet. I was going through a tough time. So my promo was bad. It was bad. They ended up burying us. They ended up having us lose to a mop and a broom. That's how bad the promo was. We lost to a mop and a broom in a tag team title match. That's how bad it was. And yeah, long story short, it led to a whole different character that ended up getting more over with the guys than any of my previous ones. And yeah, but that's how I met RB3. So I've always known how petty that dude can be. I'm not surprised that what he said. I'm just surprised that it just came out from out of nowhere. So yeah. All right, that was just a quick time with these champ. Maybe that might be a new segment in the new year. Who knows? Let's turn to Dark. Let's turn to Dark this week. Dark this week has 16 matches. And before I turn the floor over to Steph, as always, I always got to do this when we talk about AEW Dark. It is the stat of the day. This week's runtime for AEW Dark was 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 55 seconds. This was the first sub 2 hour edition of Dark that they've had since November 17th. So an entire month, every edition of Dark has been 2 or more hours. And now this one is the first one that's gone under 2 hours since November the 17th. And folks, that is your stat of the day. Thank you very much. Yeah, hey, RB3 remembers? Yo, we got jobbed hard as fuck. They buried the fuck out of us, dog. Oh my God. I don't think RB3 even recovered from that. I was able to, but I don't know if RB3 was able to recover from that. And I thought it was, and I put it all on me because, like I said, that promo I did was horrible. And RB3 wasn't much of a talker. So I had to do most of the talking for the team. And I pretty much got us buried. He hit us with an RKO. Yeah. RB3 out of nowhere. Facts. Yeah. RB3 out of nowhere. Facts. And then, why is their dark match show longer than their TV show? That is a very good question, RB3. Very good question, but we'll table that question until we get to our until after we get our takeaways. We'll table that for right now. We'll table that. I want to answer that question. I think that's a good question. So I think I'll take some time to think about that. But Sid, your takeaways, please, sir. I like the question.
Yeah, so do I. I'm going to think about RB3's question as well. Anyway, AEW Dark. Excuse me, it's called AEW Starks. Yeah. Ricky Starks has had a lot of good success on Dark and in AEW overall since he's been there. Now, Champ and I saw this when he was in the NWA that he could become a star in this business. You're seeing it weekly now. Brandon Cutler's here to remind you that, yeah, I looked better this past week and I can fucking wrestle. Period. I think Abaddon has about a 40% chance of being the next AEW Women's Champion. Okay? The caveat to this is that Hikaru Shida has been taking on and beating all challengers. So it's really good to see this build between Shida and Abaddon. Look, I was all over Britt Baker's case when she was a babyface. She's becoming a treasure as a heel in the women's division. She and a few other talents need to be protected at all costs because it's just gold with her as a heel. I think her fiance or boyfriend, Whisper, has been giving her a little bit of advice. I think the coaches in AEW have also had a good thing. I mean, duh, you've got Arn Anderson there for crying out loud. Did I say more? I've got to wonder, will Jurassic Express be contenders in the 6-man tag division? Because they're racking up W's right and left in both the tag team and the 6-man tag division. Thunder Rosa on commentary, another reason to watch AEW, because you have guest commentators that are focused not only on their storylines, but also the action that's going on in the ring. You know, they multitask. They don't focus on just their current rivalries. Leva Bates and Skylar Moore raising the bar in women's wrestling. They had a really good match. The Acclaimed are my favorite new tag team. I am on the bandwagon of the Acclaimed. And I'm sure they're hearing this, I hope. My boys in Dark Order went 2-0 this week on Dark. Slowly but surely, y'all are seeing what I saw in day 1 of the Dark Order. Joy Janela and Sunny Kiss still continue to impress me as a tag team. I really love watching them work together. There were guys who, if they'd stayed singles, probably would have been cast aside for a while, but they're getting on pretty good footing. Not ready to say that Freya States is all elite yet, but seeing her develop is a good thing because the more in-ring work she's getting, the better she's developing. Matt Sydal is doing some really good vet work in AEW. Women's division is gradually not becoming the whipping post of AEW anymore, which is a good thing. My final takeaway is you gotta love slow burns. Hashtag best friends versus Miro will explode soon. Champ.
All right, before into my takeaway, just a couple comments in here. Dujane was piggybacking off of RB3's comments saying, see, that's my thing. I don't understand that at all. Talking about what show, their dark match show is longer than the show. RB3 responded to him being buried even after he was the world champion. Yeah, I remember that shit. That was crazy. And then Dujane gave praise to Seth on, Seth. They do a very good job in AEW keeping balance, which is great. So before I get into my takeaways, here's what I think about when it comes to the 2-hour thing. I think the reason why their dark show is longer than the regular show is you got to think about something. AEW Dynamite on network TV. It's on cable TV. So there's restrictions. There's certain things they can do. There's only so much time they can have. So they're going to only be hours. Whereas when you're on YouTube and you have this expanded roster of gals, you're on YouTube. You can go as long as you want. Like right now, this podcast is gone an hour and 30 minutes, and it's streaming live on YouTube now. YouTube back in the day used to have a limit. Every video was 10 minutes. You had a 10-minute limit. It was not until I think about 4 or 5 years ago that they got rid of limits. And now there are no limits to how long your videos can go on YouTube. So of course, you got this big group of people on your roster. And then you have a bunch of people who you brought in from the indies to help, to bring in some bodies. So, of course, when you have that many people, that many bodies, and you're on a platform that there's no time limit how long you can go, yes, you're going to have a show that's going to go longer than your episodic show that's on cable TV that is limited because of being on cable TV. So there you go. That's my explanation for that. RB3 says that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah. All right, my takeaways. So, you had 2 champions compete on this episode. You don't normally have a lot of champions competing on Dark. But Hikaru Shida, the Women's World Champion, and the FTW World Champion were both competing on this episode. And yes, I recognize the FTW Championship. AEW may not, but I recognize it. I recognize the FTW Championship. God damn it. I was very surprised, though. The first women's match out of the 5 that they had on the night was Shida, the champion. Now, maybe the logic is that, hey, we want our women's champion to be at the top of the ledger to showcase the women's division and set everybody else up for success. Maybe that's the logic. But I just felt that maybe she could have been a little bit lower on the card, a little bit, higher on the card, not higher, lower. Towards the main event, or closer to the main, or closer to the middle. But I can see the logic. Okay, so cool. I still think, again, you have a platform where you have unlimited time on there. They're not regulated on time when it comes to YouTube. You can go as long as you want. Give women more time in the ring to develop. I've been saying this. We said this earlier on with Impact. With Impact Wrestling, you see that their women are getting 10, 15 minutes into work, 20 minutes in a tag match in some instances. They're able to work. They're able to just do the work. Your women's division cannot prove if you're only giving them 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and stuff like that. Because then they're going to try everything they can in, and it's not going to look good. Give them 10 minutes so that way they can slow burn it, get the feel for each other, and boom. Let's go for it. Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, has become such a fantastic heel. She has become such a fantastic heel. And the waiting room segment that she has on Dark is definitely a great way to keep her in the vision of everybody that follows AEW. It's a great way. And I mean, it's cheesy, but it's just something you just don't want to skip at all. And yeah, I watch it live when it premieres, so I don't skip. But even if I was watching it back, I wouldn't skip that because it's just so entertaining, even though it's so cheesy. Not just the guest commentators such as Anthony Ogogo, and then of course we had Thunder Rosa this week, but just has an Excalibur, just in general, just have the most amazing commentary, taking a piss out of each other. It's absolutely entertaining to watch. And I mean, you can just tell they're having an absolute blast. Laughing it up, joking it up, using a lot of insider terms that a lot of should not be hearing because then they're going to go and repeat it and look like complete idiots. But it's entertaining. It's such entertaining stuff. I love it. Big fans of the Acclaim, just like Sith, but unfortunately, Max, that freestyle you had, it just didn't hit like it normally does. It just didn't. And I hate to say that, and I'm hoping they're not listening because I don't want them to hear that. I'm focusing. But no, I'm sorry, that freestyle just hit like you wanted it. It didn't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, dude. But it just didn't hit. It just didn't. It didn't. Um, 2 for 2 for the Dark Order, like Sid says. So guess what? It's no longer AEW Starks. It's AEW Dark Order. Join the Dark Order. And finally, and I've been saying this for a lot on this podcast, and I'm going to say it again every time I see this dude. I'm going to say it every time. I'm not a fan of Luther. I am not a fan of Luther. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good. I think his skills have diminished quite a bit over the years, and I think he should just, they put him in a tag team to try not to expose him so much, but all he keeps doing is slamming some principle on people. His principle selling it like he's dying, whereas anybody else that does it, they're fine, but he's selling it like he's dying. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of Luther. Not a fan of this team. Oh shit! Hey, RB3, he might do that too. If he does this podcast, he might diss me. RB3 said Max about to do a shit. He about to diss the fuck out of me. Oh shit! It might put me on the map. Maybe we'll listen to it. Hey Max, go ahead, diss me. Get some more, so I can get more views and more listens. Shit, I might need that. But again, Luther, not a fan. Not a fan at all. No. And I'm not a fan of the tag team either. Chaos Project, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. We're moving on. We're gonna move on. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite, which even though it dropped in the ratings into a little over 800 something thousand, it still beat out NXT, who rose in their ratings. So there you go. But Dynamite, let's talk about Dynamite. Let's talk about Dynamite. Shall we? Let's do that.
Yeah, we shall. How's everyone doing? Hope you're enjoying the show so far. All right. I do not foresee Private Party and Matt Hardy contending for the six-man tag belts if it comes to pass. I still think it's between Dark Order, Gun Club, Team Tags. Those are my three top six-man tags to fly for that belt if it were to come to pass. I hope y'all are paying attention to MJF. He threw shade at the Inner Circle sans Jericho. Hope y'all were paying attention to that. They're still sowing the seeds of the breakup of the Inner Circle. It's just being put on pause so they can develop the story. It's good shit. Angelico. He was so put over by Cody. Make no mistake about it. Angelico is fucking impressive. And I loved how after the match, Team Taz was about to ambush Cody, and then the Outlaw Enforcer Sting shows up with baseball bat in hand. They're like, oh, we're getting the fuck out of here. We don't want Sting right now. Miro was misused in WWE, and I think it's about time people finally fucking realized it. I think I see what's building here. Eddie Kingston's family versus the Death Triangle. And then after that, Pac's going to take on Lance Archer. I think they're building this up and laying down the foundational seeds for stories upon to go after a story is over. It's good stuff. Some of the issues of the Inner Circle are set aside for now. I know MJF's got ulterior motives, and Top Flight is definitely up to the task of competing. That much is certain. Note to Britt Baker, DMD, and Rebel. Y'all do not want the smoke Thunder Rosa brings. You better tread carefully. That's all I'm going to say. Thunder Rosa's that damn good. All right. There was a major upset this week that didn't get a lot of coverage from the dirt sheets. Surprise. The Acclaimed upset SCU and laid down a challenge to the Young Bucks. Now, I love the Acclaimed. I'm a mark of them. I get it. But they're not beating the Young Bucks. But the Young Bucks, the Bucks will put them over, though, as they're putting over everybody as they're holding the belts. The women's division is no longer a chore to sit through in AEW. And I want to see what happens with the Vicky Guerrero faction that she's got. But with the announcement of Brandy Rhodes' pregnancy, as we said top of the show, what happens to the story, we don't know. And give credit where it's due. Kenny Omega helped put Joey Janela over in that non-DQ main event. But we're here a week from Wednesday. Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix. December 30th. Yep. Champ, brother.
Okay.
It's you, homie.
Oh, man, I got to correct you on something there, Seth. I got to correct you on something. No, he didn't put Joey Janela over. He completely buried him in a squash. Now, a lot of people are saying the reason why that happened is because they were pressed for time. I still think it's ridiculous. They could have gave Joey some offense. I mean, when they went at it in that dark match, lights out match, that was incredible. This right here was not it. That was not it. Matter of fact, I don't even think I listened. Yeah, I did. That's actually one of my takeaways. That's one of my takeaways. RB3 says, Doc don't want that work. Okay. Oh, by the way, Platinum Max Cast, if you're listening to this, you're going to diss me. Make sure you have your IG at DC's People's Chat. DCS People's Chat on IG. At me. Don't be a pussy and say, I don't want to use his hand. I don't want to give him no attention. No, if you write a diss track about me, you better at me, fam. Okay, man. Anyway, let me stop getting carried away here. All right, first takeaway. Again, congrats to the Rose family. Again, such a great moment to see Brandy come out, having that baby bump and everything. She just looks so happy and she's just glowing. And Cody just looks so over the moon. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. The feelings that Cody are feeling right now, knowing that he's getting ready to have his first child, I had the same feelings. You just feel euphoric. You feel euphoric. It's a different love that you see in the eyes of your partner, and it's really cool. Like, I felt the same way when I found out I was going to be a father junior. I was over the moon. I was so happy, and even though he turned 7 in a couple, and he turned 7 about 8 days, and I still feel over the moon that I have someone who shares my DNA that'll look up to me for the rest of their life. So the feelings they're feeling are just amazing. So shout out to them. Again, the Cubs are definitely on the rise. They're definitely on the rise. That was a big win over SCU. But on a side note, production really had a misstep there. Justin Roberts usually announces them before they come through the tunnel, so that way when the words come off the beat, Cass can get into his freestyle. They were late by just about a second or so, and because of that, he's finishing off his intro, and the mic is off, so he can't get his freestyle off, and his freestyle time was off. So it didn't really deliver like he wanted it to. That was a misstep in production there, and I hate that to the same because they're young and everything like that. But yeah, getting that kind of win, awesome. I think it's a little bit too soon for them to challenge for the championships, but I like the fact that they're pushing this young team along with another young team, which I'll mention in a little bit. Here's a problem, and I'm gonna get this ready. You have one women's match on this card. One. I think it went like 8-9 minutes. And I think like 5 or 6 minutes of that was televised. Most of it, especially the good bits, were part of picture-in-picture and then not even shown through commercials. Unacceptable. Especially when you are trying to improve this division. And you had 4 incredibly talented young ladies. Serena Deeb, the NWA World's Women's Champion. Big Swole, one of the most popular women on the roster. Your AEW Women's Tag Team Cup champions, Eva Lisa Diamante. And you only got them on TV for a short period of time and put most of their match through a picture commercial break. No. You are not going to improve this division doing shit like that. That's not going to help. You can't wait for your pay-per-views to really showcase women's division and give them 10, 15 minutes. You need to give them time on your television show, and you need to give them more time on your dark show, and show that you have a strong women's division, because right now, nobody believes your women's division is strong. If you put your women's division up against if you're doing this crossover thing, and you put AEW women's division up against the Knockouts division and Impact, Knockouts division is wiping them the fuck out. They're wiping them the fuck out. Ain't no way in the world. Bro, come on now. Yo, Jake Hager. Yo, I know you were trying to do a little tribute to Wardlow. He couldn't be there because of family issues and stuff like that. So that's why that 14-man tag match turned into a 12-man. But dog, what the fuck were you thinking? Trying the F10. That shit looked like an F minus 10. Shit. Anyway. Listen, okay. AEW. I just have this one request. Just one request. Please don't shove Sting down our throats. Please. We've already seen him 4 straight weeks, I think, almost. Since his debut, we've seen him 3 straight shows. Don't shove him down our throats. We get it. He's here. He had that nice little last run and everything like that. Cool. But don't shove him down our throats and have him coming out there every single week. Because after a while, you got to remember, you have a younger audience base. Based on the demos that you've been hitting recently, you have a younger base that a lot of them didn't really follow Sting. Well, a lot of them did follow Sting, but also a lot of them know that if they see somebody too much, they get tired of them. That's why people turn on John Cena. That's why people turned on Roman Reigns, people like that, because they saw too much of them. So don't let them see too much Sting this early, because otherwise they ain't gonna want to see him no more. And then you gotta figure out something else. I think that Eddie Kingston, if he's gonna have this rivalry with not only the Death Triangle, but also with Lance Archer, somebody else needs to join his family. But who? I don't know. But somebody does. So that's even. Because they can play the dynamic of the 4-on-3, but two of the 4 aren't getting along because they both want Eddie Kingston and stuff like that. They can play that angle. But I think, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't know. Just like the Acclaim stepped up, we got another young team stepped up to the plate. Even though they lost, they stepped up. Talking about Top Line, going after MJF and Chris Jericho. What a rub would it be for Top Line to go up against the first AEW champion and the man who's just been a legend in wrestling for 30 plus years, and the young up and comer who has done so much in his short career at MJF? What kind of rub that would be for those 2 young men who one is not even of legal drinking age yet? And that would be amazing. So look forward to that. Listen, can we get Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Doug Rose in the ring like right now, like ASAP? Because what they've been doing with this rivalry is just making me watch more and sooner. Like, I want to wait and want this match now. I want this. I need this so much. Between the burn that she gave on Tuesday night in the waiting room, and then I need this. I need this match. I need it. Please, I need it. Matt's going to turn heel on Private Party, and it's going to be sooner than later, and people are going to see it coming because of his actions. Look what he did in the Royal weeks ago. Look what he did on Dynamite. He's about to he's going to lead them to hanging, or they're going to tell him to go the fuck away. But either way, he's going to become heel. And I'm not mad at heel Hardy. I'm not mad at heel Matt Hardy because he could pull it off. And he's got to do a new way to do it, so I'm with it. Let's go. Let's do it. And of course, like I said, my final takeaway is, like, again, Joey Janela and Omega had such a great match that doesn't even count against the record because it was a lights out match. It was a lights out match. that happened on Dynamite. Not Dynamite, Dark. But it was absolutely amazing. But I guess they did too much of the show and they pressed time, and so they had to basically condense a contenders match into basically a no disqualification contenders match into basically a glorified squash. And I think that's a shame. That's a shame. To me, it's a shame. Such. All right, let's bring back Seth in here because we're gonna shift our attention to the other Wednesday night show and the Wednesday Night Wars, who lost again this week in the ratings. Talking about NXT. NXT still coming off War Games and getting ready and gearing towards their next event, which is New Year's. I believe it's New Year's Scare,
Evil.
some shit like
New
New
Year's
Year's Evil.
Evil.
Thank you. New Year's Evil. Thank you. They got New Year's Evil coming up. Coming up after the new year, so we got that coming for you. But Tip, what about NXT and NXT this week? What you got? What you talking about? What you think?
All right. Austin Theory. Let's start off there. All right. He's coming back to what we wanted to see him on the main roster. Remember, he was briefly on the main roster? Now, we can thank the powers that be for sending him back down, as he wasn't quite ready for the main roster permanently. He will grow immensely in the ring working with Johnny Gargano. Now, I'm taking nothing away from Leon Ruff or Kushida. Both are love watching them wrestle. Both are really good wrestlers. But the opening match was about building up Gargano's stable. The loss didn't hurt Ruff and Kushida. So please, folks, stop inboxing me and telling me, oh, they got hurt. No, they didn't. I'm impressed by Tyler Rust. And I think Thatcher's going to have a solid feud with Ciampa that'll end probably next month. Or all fails the first takeover of the year, which will probably be February. I'm going to say this one last time. You got to keep your eyes on the grizzled young veterans. Malcolm Bivens has his eyes set on Tyler Rust, possibly. That'll be worth looking into. O'Reilly Dunn was just, whoa. This could have made a really good main event here. It could have. This could have been a good takeover match that's like right before the main event. It was that good of a match. And your number one contender is Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era. Hey, champ, I've been wondering this since Wednesday night. Who in the hell is this mystery woman who's crying during Xia Li's training with Boa? I mean, I keep going back to that, dog. I'm like, who is this woman? I guess we'll find out eventually. I think Shotzi Blackheart wants to go after Team LeRae bit by bit. Damian Priest. TikTok. Time's running out. And something that Champ and I alluded to last year and earlier on this year, Thickums Toni Storm can fucking wrestle. She doesn't fuck around. She didn't in NXT UK, and she's just as deadly now as she was back overseas, if not deadlier. Stop sleeping on Toni Storm, y'all. It'd be a big mistake. She's a contender that flies under the radar. Champ, I yield the floor, homie.
All right then. So NXT Black Gold Brand. What did y'all deliver to us this week? Well, from what I got, it was this. I echo Seth's sentiments that O'Reilly and Pete Dunne was an absolutely amazing clash, unbelievable clash, I should say, unbelievable. But I shouldn't be surprised by that, given the nature of these two fight styles. I shouldn't be surprised by that. What a difference in time, the attitudes and the looks of Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm compared to their rivalry in NXT UK. How different things are now. It's amazing to see how different. So Leon Ruff goes from North American champion, yay, to jobber entrance, where Kushida and he's already in the ring. Damn, damn, homie. Like it was all good just a week. Anyway, the stable name for the Austin Theory and Hartwell. I fucking love that name. The way it's simple, but it's awesome because that's what they've been preaching. The Gargano way, the way, love it, cool. Russ Taylor has arrived, y'all, and again, like I mentioned earlier on, he literally 2 days later, he's literally performed on 2 different stations on TV this week. He was on NXT, great, on a clinic, and then 2 nights later, put on a clinic, and they both in a losing effort. But the second one was to Jeff Cobb. Yes, he has arrived. Let's get rolling with him. Are we seeing the close stretch in this saga with Xylee and Boa? Because they've gotten to the point now where Xylee beating the fuck out of Boa. I know they're not going to turn around and have Boa fuck out of Xylee. I would hope not. In this day and age and in this climate, you do that, you are getting you are getting absolutely canceled if you reverse roles and have Xylee get beaten on by Boa. You better not. I just feel like, oh man, I want to see where they go with this. Are they going to turn into like unstoppable fighters who are just not, you can't affect them? And are they pushed? What's going to happen? So yeah, right proper cross for Karrion Kross. First night back after your injury. First match back after your injury. After you blitzkrieg Damian Priest, you go and have a nice little squash match. Yes, I love that. That was the right play right there. Don't put him in a competitive match against somebody that's a nobody when he knows he's got a fight coming up. Yeah, give him a squash. Thank you. So I thought that Evan Ross was getting serious. I said that a couple weeks ago. I thought serious, more serious, but I guess not. Oh well, I thought that was gonna happen, but again, I guess not. I'm not disappointed, but I really thought that they were going the serious route and be serious contenders for the tag championships. So yeah, we'll see. And finally, Ramon, I thought we were going. I listen. I guess we're getting Raquel Gonzalez versus Rhea Ripley again. I guess we're getting that again. I'm indifferent. I'm not going to say I hate it, but I don't love it. I'm indifferent because we already saw it. They put on a great match. But why are we getting it again? Especially because Raquel Gonzalez just beat the women's champion in War Games. Why is she not getting a proper title shot? Why is she dicking around with Rhea? Is she going to beat Rhea to show that she's worthy of a championship match? Is that what's happening here? I guess. I don't know. But that's NXT for you. Both shows Wednesday night were watchable and enjoyable. And that's what you want from your wrestling programming. It's a watchable, enjoyable experience. And speaking of watchable and enjoyable experiences, we segue because we head to the basement. Because, Sif, what do you got to say in the basement for this week's NXT UK report?
Ooh, we've got a doozy for you. Kaylee Ray was in action this week. Is she still our NXT UK Women's Champion? Has Saxon Huxley recovered after suffering a major beatdown to Rampage Brown? And what happened in the main event between The Hunt and Gallus? You can find all of that and so much more with the NXT UK report right here, right now. Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to your NXT UK report for this week. Ela Dawn took on Kaylee Ray in the opening bout, where Kaylee Ray won courtesy of the Lori Bob, and she again put the NXT UK Women's roster on notice that after 474 days, she feels no one can stop her. Ben Carter, the champ that I saw on AEW Dark during the early parts of the pandemic, got a package from a teaser as his arrival is seen on NXT UK. Ilya Dragunov gave us an emotional promo reflecting his loss to Walter and promises to come back strong. Jack Stars and Levi Mirror beat Saxon Huxley in a handicap match, and after getting beat down after the win, Dave Mastiff came in for the save. In 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number one contenders match to figure out who's going to be the number one contender to Carrie as Jenny will take on Neville. A-Kid had a nice promo with the Heritage Cup, but Walter came in and erupted him, pressed him down, as Walter is our ring general. And I can't wait for these two to go at it because it's going to be a really exciting rivalry. Trent Seven's taking some time away, but he will be back soon. Rampage Brown defeated Josh Morrell in his debut with the Dr. Bomb. And in your main event, The Hunt took on Gallus this week. It was an exciting main event as The Hunt had chances to win, but Gallus retains with the aid of South Wales Subculture and Joe Coffey. Pretty Deadly showed up to talk shit on the ramp when Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter threw them into the ring, and Gallus cleared house after that as the show ended. And that is your NXT UK report for this week. Stay tuned for weekly reports from NXT UK here on the No Spots podcast from the Bay.
All right. I gotta figure out a way so that it doesn't cut off abruptly when I edit it, but fuck it, whatever. A lot to unpack. That was 2 minutes and 18 seconds. That's a lot to unpack there. But let's start it off. That caught me by surprise when I'm sitting up there watching, and all of a sudden I hear it, and I see Kaylee Ray came out. I said, "Hey, let's go, KLR, baby, let's get it." KLR is actually on the show. Okay, cool. So good to see KLR. Definitely was good to see her. I got a feeling that Piper Never is not gonna get another shot at the championship. I think JD's gonna beat her. My heart set is going with Piper Nevin, of course, but logic says it's gonna be Jenny, and then Jenny's gonna lose to KLR, and KLR is gonna continue this long ass 400-day reign as fucking champion. Rampage Brown still is a petty motherfucker. That is a petty motherfucker. Jesus Christ. And then what else? God damn it. So I ain't even gonna front. I ain't gonna hold you. Ilya Dragunov, just the looks in his eyes and his face almost had me in tears. I was feeling his emotions. I'm like, yo, that's how you know that's a good promo. When you feel that person's emotions. I felt his emotions. I was like, oh man, I feel so bad for this dude, man, because he got beat the fuck up. And look what happened to him. Like, god damn it, fam. I hate that happened to him, man, but Jesus. And then of course Volter comes out. This A-Kid is like showing him up, man. He's like, look, motherfucker, I'm the world champ. Like, I'm the NXT UK United Kingdom champion. What you talking about? You just the Heritage Cup dude. Look at you. You ain't stepping up to my level, son. Hey, he got to do what he got to do. He got to flex on him. He got to flex on him, son. He got to flex on him. But that tag match was absolutely amazing. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm actually happy I was wrong. Because last week I did pick the Hunt to become tag team champions. I'm glad I was wrong. I'm happy I was wrong. I thought that with the storyline they had and everything like that, I thought this was their time. I'm happy to be wrong for this one. Because, like I said, I only just now started watching on a weekly basis. I'm happy to be wrong on this one. I am. I'm cool. I'm so cool. Anyway, so that's all I got for that. So that was your NXT UK report from the basement. You can catch that each and every week right here on the No Spots podcast, usually right after we talk about the Wednesday Night War. So make sure you're tuned in for that. And if you want to watch it yourself and see what the Sif sees, then check it out on the WWE network. It comes on at 3 p.m. our time, Eastern time, which is 8 p.m. British time. So there you go. All right, finally, we got Smackdown to talk about, Sith. What do we got to talk about with Smackdown before we get up out of here?
Oh, man. What it is. This burn build between KO and Reigns has been a reason to, I'm looking forward to tables, ladders, and chairs, if not for that. Over on Raw, this wouldn't work. But on SmackDown, you've got Mob Boss Roman, who I've called Michael Corleone, basically treating all challengers non-family as if they're a part of the five families. If you've seen The Godfather, you know what I'm referring to. And kids aspiring to be managers in pro wrestling should take note of Paul Heyman. He is still the best in the business on the mic, managerial-wise, after all these years. Rudolph versus Street Profits. I wish these guys could meet at TLC as a surprise match. Just squeeze it in. Move one of the matches that's already there to the pre-show. Okay? Because this was an awesome match. The fast ascension of the breakup of the Iconics into Jobbers Weekly has been a fucking disgrace. And shows more so that unless you're Carmella, Bianca Belair, Asuka, or the Four Horsewomen, you're booking sporadic at best. I think that Carmella Banks will have a longer story, probably. It's a totally different story to bring back in a workhorse into the title scene as a major face or heel of the company. Carmella isn't a major heel yet, but they had to build her up quickly as such after the long story between Banks and Bayley. I'm enjoying this story develop between Chad Gable and Otis. I mean, both of these guys are good. They really are. And I think they're going to try to make something out of what is likely supposed to be nothing. Man, I was in tears watching the Sammy Awards. That was gold. That was gold. I'm looking forward to seeing the powder keg between Bianca Belair and Bayley explode. This story isn't over by a long shot, and I think it's going to be a stepping stone for the women's title picture. The ending to SmackDown is how you hype up a big match for a pay-per-view, whether it's the main event or the match that kicks off a pay-per-view. This is how you do it. My only bad takeaway is that you had few matches this week, but it's understandable because you're trying to do the legwork to promote a pay-per-view that the flagship show did a piss poor job in promoting overall. Whereas Raw was bad this week, SmackDown was the total reverse. It was fun to watch. The only regret I have is that Profits Rudolph, Bianca, Bayley, those are pay-per-view worthy matches. And that's all I got, champ.
All right. So, all right, starting this off right here. The whole story and everything that surrounded what happened on this episode down with KO and Mob Boss Ron Corleone was absolutely well done. Again, SmackDown only has 2 matches on this upcoming card, and they're both championship matches. And on this episode, you managed to get both of those storylines advanced even more to get you ready. SmackDown is a blueprint for how you build your pay-per-view. For Christ's sake. Okay, next. So, WWE, I gotta ask this every single fucking why you take Billy Kay from Peyton Royce, only to have her tag other fucking people. I'm not understanding that logic. Can someone explain it to me, please? Next. Hey, Carmella. Hey, Carmella. Hey. Listen, that was a long promo that you did. That was a long promo. But it's a bit of advice. Go and make an insult in terms that has to do with numbers that you know can be, because you said you don't that Sasha doesn't know how to keep a championship. Thanks to Ross for his WTF moments on Alcoholic Wrestling, he proved that wrong. He's had 3 championship reigns that have gone longer than her current championship reign. She had a 55-day reign with Raw champion, one of her reigns. She had a 94-day reign as Women's Tag Team Champion, and she had, I believe, a 114-day reign as NXT Women's Champion. So you look like she doesn't know how to keep championships when she has 3 championship reigns that have lasted longer than most. But go ahead, I can tell you something cool. Anyway, we keep it moving. I need more Sammy on my TV. Every week that Sammy's on my TV, I'm happy because he brings me so much joy with his arrogant obnoxiousness. And just having your own award show, Jesus Christ. And then you lose you win all but one. I love it. I fucking love it. It was awesome. Great shit. He's talking about how Rudolph, after they lost the tag title match to Street Profits by their own game, then they tried to plead the case to the Little Nation, basically told them off. Can we talk about that? Oh damn! Sorry, I'm watching the preseason game for the Wizards against Pistons because, as I'll mention in my final thoughts, after my final thought, I will be this roundtable will be returning pretty soon. So there you go. But yeah, Little Nate told them off. So Little Nate told him fuck off. Told him fuck off. Okay. These next 2, I need something. So here we go. Shinsuke Nakamura got beat clean by fucking Otis. Are you serious?
What?
Yeah. Nakamura got beat clean by Otis. And then to top that off, Karen herself, the former SmackDown Women's Champion, the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion, gets a semi-clean win after a bunch of losses, including losing to Natalya of all people. She beats Bianca Belair?
What?
Like, come on, dog. Come on. And I could sit here and say, oh, Nakamura's got to go back home. He's got to go back home, go back to Japan, go back to New Japan. Nah, he's uprooted his family from Japan here to the States. So I doubt he would want to go back to New Japan and leave his family behind. I know Kent is doing that now. He's in Japan. His family's here in the United States. When you're a Japanese superstar and you have a Japanese family, but you come to the States to wrestle, you're uprooting your family from one country to another. It's not that easy to just say, okay, let's go back there. It's just not that simple. So unfortunately, this is what he's got to deal with. And I hate it so much. And then Bianca Belair getting jobbed out by fucking Karen. Oh my God. But here's the thing though. Bianca Belair was in the main event match of the night. It wasn't the main event segment, but it was the main event match of the night. So that's a big upgrade for Ms. Blair, and she should be proud of that. And finally, it wasn't a match. But once again, my guy, main event Oos, is in the final segment of Smackity Down. Thank you. He's on Smackity Down in the final segment thing. Yeah. So yeah. Another final SmackDown this week. Again, it gets you hyped and ready for what is to be a pretty good TLC. That's what I think. That's what I feel. All right, Sid, before we plug our stuff and everything like that, final thoughts. Final thoughts, please.
Final thoughts. A very salient point here. This week, although AEW Dark was about 6 minutes shy of 2 hours, not including Final Resolution, Champ and I put in 14 hours of wrestling, and that also doesn't include the New Japan stuff wrestling as well that Champ and I watch. This is a labor of love, and we love you all. Please, if you got any questions for us, as you saw earlier, we interact with people that ask questions. So if we're doing Impact, you don't know what's happening in Impact, oh, what's the story about? We can fill you in. Jump in and talk to us, man. We want to hear from y'all. But I just want to say, besides that, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. If you're done with Hanukkah, hope you had a happy Hanukkah. For those who celebrate Christmas, hope you have a Merry Christmas. There's Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa. And have a very safe new year. Everyone, please be safe. And we will definitely check you out in 2021. Chill.
I forgot my final thought was going to be. It was something non-wrestling related, but I can't remember what it is. So I'm just going to let it slide. My final thought is this just says this is a labor of love. We watch a lot. I don't watch anything else on TV but wrestling. Like right now, I'm watching Wiz preseason. That's because of my contributions to sports on the net. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be watching that. I would just be watching wrestling. So, watching a lot of wrestling, it would be very appreciative if people would support what we're doing, because we're wrestling fans who don't rely on dirt sheets and Uncle Dave Meltzer to give us the wrestlers. We go, we watch it, and we follow it, and we research. That's what we do. Because who's going to really do it? We do. So when you see me and I'm saying I'm the way I am, it's because I'm so passionate about doing this. I've been doing this for 2 years, over 2 years, going on 3. I one co-host just all of a sudden just stopped wanting to be a part of the podcast, just basically ghosted me. And it broke my heart because he and I had synergy. This was our baby. And then for him to disappear on me, it was heartbreaking. But thank God that someone who shall remain not nameless, because we're not going to name him on this podcast because he's a piece of trash. The only good thing he's done is relationship with radio and everything, and himself, was the fact that he brought me Donnie Wrestling. And Donnie, God bless him, he came on, he was experienced with podcasting. You could tell he was inexperienced, but he grew. He kept doing it. He kept doing it, and better and better and better. And then Seth came along, because I was worried about Donnie and his being able to be a part of it, because he might have some things going on. So we brought Sith on, and then we ended up becoming a 3-man team, a 6-man tag team of wrestling radio, of wrestling podcasting. We put in a lot of work to bring you the content that we do, and then we're getting ready to revamp this entire what we're bringing to you in terms of content. We're getting ready to revamp all of this shit. It's going to be probably new. It's going to be most likely new segments, new ways of delivering the content, and things like that. And I got to give a shout out to Dan Dinkins, the mayor, for the conversation that we had recently, where he's helped me to figure out some ways to revamp the podcast and make it a different presentation. And so we're going to be looking at some of those things during our 2-week break. Also, got to give a shout out to Dujane, who if you were watching the live stream, was been commenting a lot. I was feeling some type of way after the Final Resolution stream, where the only person was on was Sith, and I was feeling some type of way, and I literally said, "Is this worth it anymore?" And so he ended up giving me hitting me up, and we had a nice chat. He basically lifted me up on that, and even today when I put up the post that I did on my Facebook about, yeah, we're doing a live stream, but ain't nobody gonna watch it, so why should I promote it? It's a lot of people that just jumped in there and was like, dude, just keep grinding and keep fighting it. And that's, and I hear that a lot. It's like keep grinding, and it's like I'm trying to keep grinding, but it's just like it's wearing me out that I watch so much fucking wrestling. Then I get on a microphone. I went and spent money on a better microphone, spending $20 a month for StreamYard, so that way I can actually brand this podcast. I do paid ads on. I do a paid ad on freaking what you call it, Spotify. Well, not Spotify. Anchor,
yeah.
Anchor, and whatnot. Trying to do things financially that trying to do things. Paying for pay-per-views when I'm supposed to be saving my money because I'm planning on moving soon, next year actually, and I'm spending money watching Impact pay-per-views, paying $10 a month for the network so we can watch WWE pay-per-views, right? And spending money to watch AEW pay-per-views, even though they do them once a quarter, but they're not cheap. Spending $20 a month for the StreamYard so I can live stream, and record this podcast in better audio quality. So that's why when you see the post that I post, it's out of frustration because all this money I'm putting out into the podcast, I'm not getting nothing back in return except people, they react to my post on a live stream podcast. They react to it, but there's no shares. No one shares it to their friends. None of them even pop on for like 5 or 10 minutes to say, "What's up? I'm checking this out to see what you got. See if I'm fucking with you." Nothing like that. It's just they'll go out there, they'll see it, they'll say, "Oh, I love that," and then that's it, and then they'll keep moving, and that's what makes me so frustrated. But the moment that I don't show up to one of your shows, or I don't show up, or I'm not on your podcast watching it and commenting, all of a sudden I'm a bad person. But yet you don't reciprocate, and that's what's frustrating, and that's what frustrated me last Saturday. When I'm sitting on that live stream watching an Impact pay-per-view, I just paid $10 that I could have used that $10 for something else. But instead, I'm sitting out there trying to provide content by watching it with fans. And the only person that was on was Sith. And the only comments I was getting was from Sith. If I wanted Sith to be on as part of the live reactions, he'd have been on the fucking camera instead of in the comments. And that's where I got my frustration just went over, was just over. I was just over it at that point. My frustration just came out. It boiled over. And I apologize for nothing because that's how I felt. That people will fake support you in a heartbeat. They will fake support you in a heartbeat. So for those of y'all who came into my comments and said, "Dude, keep grinding and keep pushing," I thank you. I'm gonna keep pushing as hard as I can, because I want this podcast to be one of those podcasts that everybody in the wrestling lexicon wants to talk about. I want to be that podcast that fucking what culture and cultaholic quote on their news videos. I want to be the one where I interview the big time wrestlers and stuff like that. I want to be the one that the wrestlers tag on fucking social media. But in order to do that, I need to know that even just at the lower level, people think that my content is even decent, and I get no feedback. So it's very frustrating to not know if people truly fuck with the content that we're bringing. I don't know. So how can I take this to the next level if I don't even know at this level if I'm good enough? And I don't know if I'm good enough. And that's why I say these things like, is it worth it? Because I don't know if I'm good enough. That's my final thought. That's my final thought. Like, just support, feedback, help me, so I can understand what I'm doing with this. That's all I got. Sith, what do you got in the basement coming up on Sunday?
Oh man, Champ knows I'm looking forward for this year to just go away. So I've got the top 20 songs to ring out this crappy year from. Song of the Day is my favorite Christmas song of all time, and Champ will probably love it. and I know a lot of you will. Also, Q&A and a big stimulus update Sunday in the basement.
All right. So, Sports on the Hill will be off this week. Robbie's taking a much needed and much well deserved vacay, and so we are off this week. But in next week, the roundtable returns. The full Wizards roundtable returns. They're playing their final preseason game of 2020 of this season. Right now, it is 22-all between the Wizards and the Pistons. It is the actual first game for Russell Westbrook since his trade here from Houston, which sent John Wall there as well. He is playing in this game, which I predicted in the last week's episode that he will play in this final preseason game so he can get a tune-up before the season starts proper on the 23rd. So I was right. But we're going to talk about that game as well as their season opening game on the 23rd, as well as other games that are taking place prior to our return from the Wizards round table. That's coming up again in 2 weeks, not this week coming up next, but the following week. And then, of course, again, this will be the final No Spots podcast live stream and audio, Sunday audio that we'll be presenting to you guys for 2020. We are going to be going on a break for the holiday to recharge, to revive, and refresh, and revamp the entire how we deliver our content and things of that nature. But we will provide you with one more podcast and one more live stream. That live stream is going to be taking place Sunday evening at 6:30. We'll be watching WWE TLC 2020 and reacting to that one. And then, of course, on Christmas Eve, as a Christmas present to you, Sith and myself will recap it. And we may or may not have an additional guest on here. Don't know yet. Just a little tease for you. That'll be the People's Review featuring Sith and that possible special guest. We will see. And that'll come out on Christmas Eve. And then once that comes out on Christmas Eve, we're radio silent until January the 9th, where we come back and we catch up on everything that happened over the holiday and then bring you most likely new ways, a new form, new show in some sense, things like that. Also, January 3rd, there will be a podcast. See, so I kind of lied. There is going to be other podcasts. We are going to be doing a preview for Wrestle Kingdom. That'll be a People's Review. That'll be a 2-part People's Review. We will be doing a preview of Wrestle Kingdom, and then we will be doing a review of Wrestle Kingdom. It'll be myself and Sage. I'm hoping I can get them on there, but I highly doubt it. But anyway. But yeah, we'll be reviewing and previewing Wrestle Kingdom 15 both nights. So we got that coming for you. But then this podcast, the official, the top tier podcast of the network, we will be back on January the 9th. So there you go. That's all I got. We've almost hit 2.5 hours. We talked a lot on this episode. So we hope you enjoyed it. One last thing. Just want to say rest in peace to all the 300,000+ Americans who have lost their lives due to COVID-19. To the millions who were sick by it and were able to survive, but are currently still feeling the effects of it to this very day. And just prayers to anybody who's going through a hard time right now, because right now it's the holidays. A lot of people are alone with the way that the COVID is taking control of life in general. There are people who are going to be spending the holidays alone. I pray for your strength. I pray for your I pray for your patience, your strength, and your health, and things like that. And if you're one of the people that are listening to this podcast who are going to be spending the holiday alone, hell, inbox us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/No Spots Podcast, No Spots Pod. Hell, we can get in on do a FaceTime Messenger on there and talk with you through the holidays. If you need to get through the holidays, you don't want to get through it alone. Because no one wants to get through the holidays alone. Anyway, that's all we got for you guys. Take care. Happy holidays to you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. All that good stuff. We're out of here. Thank you for a fair 2020, I should say. And we'll see you in 2021.
Peace out.
Later.